Akanisha, set us free, O Ancient One, Mother of Venom. We have waited across endless time. For days, Akanisha pondered the words spoken from the shadows of the river. She could not shake the sound of the whisper, the weight of its presence pressing against her thoughts. It had not been a dream. She knew that now. It had been something else, something real, something waiting. That morning she awoke to the sanctuary shifting around her. The walls of woven silver branches moved ever so slightly, their forms alive with an unseen energy. Light seeped in through openings that had not been there before. Or perhaps they had always been there, changing with the will of the house. She sat up slowly, the weight of the previous night still pressing on her. The shadow in the river. The whisper. Akanisha, we have been waiting. The words curled through her mind like threads of smoke, refusing to fade. She exhaled slowly, steadying herself. She could still feel it, that lingering presence. That silent expectation. The White Witch was already awake. Akanisha found her standing by the edge of the river, gazing at the golden water as if reading something invisible to the mortal eye. She did not turn. She did not need to. You did not sleep well. Her voice was soft, but it carried with it a quiet certainty. Akanisha hesitated. Then she nodded. Something spoke to me. The White Witch remained silent for a long moment. Her silver eyes fixed on the water, as if she could see the voice itself lingering beneath the surface. Then finally she turned to face Akanisha. Her expression was unreadable. "You are beginning to hear them," she said. Akanisha's frown deepened. Them? The words felt heavy on her tongue. She did not know who she was addressing, but she knew she had always known them. The White Witch gave a soft, knowing smile. That is expected. Akanisha's hands curled into fists at her sides. Who are they? She did not want riddles. She did not want patience. She wanted answers. But the White Witch only looked at her, her silver gaze as deep and endless as the constellations above. Some of them are your allies, some of them are your foes, and some of them are the souls you bound many aeons ago. Akanisha's jaw tightened. The souls I bound? Me? Akanisha? Bound souls? Her words came sharper than she had intended. The White Witch moved closer, reaching out a hand. Akanisha did not flinch. She did not pull away. The woman's fingertips brushed gently against her forehead, a touch so light it barely existed, and yet it sent a pulse through Akanisha's body, a sensation she could not name, like something deep inside her was stirring. Wake slowly, O Ancient One, Mother of Venom, for many are the trials of your awakening. Her voice did not rise, did not demand, it simply was. And with your trials, your eyes shall pierce like a sword. Akanisha did not move. She could not. Because something in her chest tightened. Something was coming, and she had been told. It was no longer a feeling. She had been told, and she could no longer ignore it. We must begin to unravel the path ahead of you, the White Witch whispered, one day while they were both sat sharing thoughts telepathically. The journey was thought out. The White Witch thus led Akanisha deeper into the sanctuary. The path was lined with trees unlike any she had ever seen. Their transparent leaves glowed softly, pulsing in rhythm with the heartbeat of whoever walked close to them. Akanisha stepped forward, and she felt it. A slow, steady pulse syncing with her own. The leaves, the forest itself was alive. She had never noticed it before. Had it always been this way, or had she only now begun to see? But as they continued on the path, something changed. Something shifted. The air grew heavier. The once soft light of the trees dimmed, their transparent glow fading into something darker, deeper, unknowable. Akanisha slowed her steps. The trees around them, they were changing. Their leaves, once clear and shimmering, became dark. Almost like shadows, twisting unnaturally as if whispering secrets to each other. The deeper they went, the darker the woods became. The once pulsing life of the sanctuary grew hushed, closed, as though the forest itself was holding its breath. Akanisha felt a pressure building inside her chest. She whispered, her voice barely above the wind, "This place feels different." The White Witch glanced back. Her silver eyes flickered with something unreadable. "That is because it is." Akanisha's brow furrowed. She could feel it in her bones, something waiting, something forgotten. "Why does it feel closed?" she asked. The White Witch sighed softly. She turned her gaze forward again, as if seeing something Akanisha could not. Because there is something here that was meant to be forgotten. Akanisha felt the forest pulse around her as if reacting to the words. And then they reached the clearing. The trees opened up, revealing a place that did not belong to the present world. The river widened into a still, reflective pool, and at its center, a structure stood. Akanisha's breath caught in her throat. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Not a temple, not ruins, something in between. The stone walls, ancient and cracked, stood half submerged in the water, as though time itself had tried and failed to swallow it whole. Vines coiled around its broken pillars, wrapping its form in green tendrils of life and decay. Strange symbols were etched into the stone, but when Akanisha tried to focus on them, they moved, they shifted, like they were alive, like they knew she was watching. Something inside her pulsed, her heart pounded, her very soul felt drawn in, not with curiosity, not with fear, but with a force stronger than 1,000 volcanoes, a force that recognized this place, even though she did not. Akanisha took a step closer. Her voice was steady. "What is this place?" The White Witch's voice was soft, distant. "This is the place you were first worshipped on planet Earth. This is where you manifested at will in the age of your glory." The air seemed to tremble. Akanisha felt her body tense. Worshipped? Through the portal that lay within, the Queen Mother of Venom had frequently manifested at will, and so had her messengers, the beings who served her. Akanisha swallowed hard. The feeling inside her grew stronger. She took another step forward. "Beings who served her?" The White Witch nodded slowly. "Not Akanisha." The mention of that name activated the portal within. She held Akanisha's gaze, the silver of her eyes reflecting the ancient ruins behind her. That name, it brought war, retribution, death, and destruction. Akanisha's breath hitched. There was something in the way the White Witch said it. A weight, a warning. She felt a cold pressure in the back of her mind, a truth just out of reach. Her fingers trembled slightly, and then the White Witch spoke again. It was a name that should not be said. Her voice was a whisper now, almost swallowed by the weight of the air itself. And it still is, for we do not have the letters to pronounce it, for it is divine. The forest sighed. The wind curled around Akanisha's ears, whispering something she could not hear. And then her dreadlocks began to pulse, not with movement, not with the wind, but with something deeper, something older, something awakening. And she knew. She knew. She was standing at the edge of something she could never come back from. And soon she would remember. Akanisha approached the temple slowly, her pulse thrumming in her ears. The weight of the place pressed against her skin, thick, electric, like a storm about to break. She hesitated only for a moment before reaching out, her fingertips brushing against the weathered stone. The second she touched it, something shifted. Not just in the air, not just in the temple, but in her. A presence unfolded, like something ancient stretching awake after centuries of slumber. The ground trembled, softly at first, a barely there vibration beneath her feet. Then it grew. A low rumble that deepened, shaking the earth, rolling through the trees, pressing into her bones. The trees shuddered. The river stilled, its golden waters no longer flowing, but frozen, as if time itself had held its breath. And the symbols on the temple walls, they glowed. An eerie, shifting light pulsed through the carvings, their strange, unknowable forms moving, rearranging themselves, as though they were alive. Akanisha's breath hitched. She stumbled back, her body tense, uncertain. This was not normal, this was not natural, and yet it was familiar. And then she heard it, a whisper, low, resonant, ancient. But this time, it was not from the river. It did not rise from the water, did not drift on the wind. It came from the air itself. It came from everywhere. It came from within. And it spoke her name. Not Akanisha, something else. A name she did not recognize, and yet it belonged to her. Her body stiffened. Her breath came in shallow gasps. The moment stretched, endless, suffocating, and beside her, the White Witch closed her eyes. She knew. She had always known. Her voice was soft but heavy with meaning. It has begun. Akanisha tore her gaze from the temple, turning to face her. Her eyes burned, her mind spinning, the force within her thrashing against its restraints, pushing, demanding, unraveling. What is happening? The White Witch exhaled. Her expression was neither fear nor sorrow, but acceptance. She met Akanisha's gaze, her silver eyes glowing faintly beneath the darkening sky. The wheels of your reawakening will never be stopped now. The ground shuddered again, the air thickened, charged with an unseen force, and deep within her, something awakened. A name, a power, a truth that had never been lost. Months passed in the world outside the sanctuary, but it had only been days inside of it. For time ran slowly here, and that was why life stretched within these confines. 7 days had passed quickly after the events at the temple, and then suddenly they both felt it, a palpable distortion of the energy fields in and around the sanctuary. The air in the sanctuary had changed. The White Witch felt it before she saw it. A disturbance rippling through the energy of the land, a force awakening from the ruins of the temple. She stood motionless in the heart of her domain, her silver eyes half closed, sensing the delicate shift in balance within the forest. The vines and trees, normally pulsing with vibrant life energy, had begun to wilt, recoiling from something unseen, something ancient, something returning. And then the sound came, a deep rhythmic hiss, not a threat, a declaration. Akanisha, who had been standing by the river's edge, felt it too. She turned abruptly, her piercing blue eyes narrowing as a shape emerged from the darkened tree line. The King Viper. It was unlike any serpent she had ever seen. Its massive body coiled with raw power, its scales shimmering in a hue that was neither black nor gold, but something in between, something that shifted as though it existed in more than one realm at once. Its eyes, once radiant, were now dim, hollowed by the weight of centuries spent waiting. And in its mouth, it carried something. Akanisha's breath caught in her throat, a jewel of terrible energy. The sapphire. The moment the viper slithered into the sanctuary, the ground trembled softly beneath its massive weight. The ancient trees shuddered, their leaves curling inward. The sapphire, pulsing faintly, began to drain the life from everything nearby. The king viper reached the White Witch's throne of vines, its movements slow but deliberate. Then it opened its mouth and gently released the sapphire onto the earth. For a moment the world held its breath, and then the king viper did something unexpected. It bowed, in a gesture of submission, not to the White Witch, but to Akanisha. Akanisha did not move. Her gaze flickered between the massive serpent and the gemstone at its feet. A cold energy curled around her skin, pressing into her bones, and then she spoke, but not in the tongue she had always known. Not in the language of this life. She spoke in words older than the stars, a language she had never learned. It has been too long, my old friend. The moment the words left her lips, she stiffened. She had not meant to say them. She had not even known she could. The White Witch raised a delicate eyebrow, her expression unreadable. She knew. She had always known. The king viper let out a low, rumbling sound, not quite a hiss, something deeper, something older. A song of recognition. I have waited for you, it replied, speaking in the same ancient tongue. Akanisha felt the words latch onto something inside her. A feeling stirred, coiling in the back of her mind. A battle, a promise, a command given long ago. Her fingers trembled as she took a step forward. The sapphire pulsed, a slow, steady heartbeat of raw power, its glow deepening as she neared. The closer she came, the colder the air became. The White Witch finally spoke. This stone is not meant to be held, she warned. Her voice was calm, but the weight of it was heavy. Its hunger is too great. Akanisha hesitated. Her eyes flickered toward the king viper. She could see it now, the pain in its dimmed golden eyes, the weight in its ancient form. She whispered, "You have suffered." The king viper did not deny it. It simply lowered its massive head. The burden was mine to bear. Akanisha exhaled sharply. The pieces were beginning to fall into place. For thousands of years the king viper had guarded the sapphire because she had commanded it. In her past life, she had known the sapphire's power. She had known its danger. She had known that if it fell into the wrong hands, entire worlds would wither. So she had chosen not to wield it. She had entrusted it to the king viper, knowing only a being of its strength and loyalty could protect it. And in that long, endless vigil, the sapphire had slowly drained the viper's immortality. piece by piece, year by year, until even the King Viper, the most formidable guardian of the old world, had begun to fade, and now it had returned the burden to its rightful owner. Akanisha swallowed. Her hands hovered just above the sapphire, feeling its silent call. It had been waiting, just as the King Viper had, and now the choice was hers. She clenched her fists, staring into the glowing blue depths of the stone. For the first time, she asked herself, would she make the same choice again? Would she lock away its power, or would she wield it this time? The forest waited. The White Witch waited. The King Viper watched, and the sapphire pulsed. Waiting for its master to decide.